Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are building a raised bed to grow cut flowers in. If you followed me for a while, you know that I've been dreaming about building a raised cut flower bed here for some time now. So enough talking and dreaming about it. Today is a day for action. So in this quick video, I am going to share with you what materials we landed on for this cut flower bed and the cost breakdown, how we built it, and how we are going to fill it. So let's get started. Also, if you're interested in how we built this path, I'm going to link the video of how we created this path. It was a pretty simple project, and I put together a short video that runs through all of the steps for how you can build your own. So for us here in our region, the most cost-effective, long-lasting lumber option for raised bed constructions is pressure-treated pine. If you don't want to use pressure-treated pine and you have access to cedar on the East Coast, it's a bit more expensive than pressure-treated pine. I think on the West Coast, it's more readily available and it is more affordable. We've used non-pressure-treated pine and it only lasted a few years. The veggie garden beds are also made out of pressure-treated pine and have lasted us going on 3 years now, and they're not yet showing signs that they're going to need to be replaced soon. Now, there are some concerns with pressure-treated pine. Pressure-treated pine is a copper-treated wood that makes the wood less susceptible to rot and moisture conditions. There have been some studies looking at whether or not the copper leaches into the soil, and from what I can see, if there is copper leaching, it is around the perimeter of the bed and does not go farther into the bed soil, so do with that information what you will. In terms of the size of the bed, we ended up going with a 12-foot by 3-foot bed. Up top, the veggie garden beds are both 4-foot by 12-foot. And what we found is that the middle of the bed is very hard to access. I've been planting garlic and onions down the middle rows, basically anything that doesn't need much care or fussing, because otherwise it's very, very hard to reach. In terms of materials for this project, we purchased two 2x12s that were 12 feet long and one 2x12 that was 8 feet long. You'll also want to purchase exterior decking screws as well as a square and a level. The total cost of this project came to $110, which is like 11 bouquets or so, and I'm going to make more than 11, so basically this project is free. Plan math, right? In terms of constructing this raised bed, my husband did all of the work. He screwed in 4 decking screws on each side to secure it and used a square to make sure that the boards were screwed in at a right angle. Meanwhile, I helped by filming, of course, and also moving the mulch. This area was mulched last season as we were trying to figure out how to best use this space. At first, I thought I wanted to do half moon garden beds on either side and build this set of stone, but for practical reasons, we went with this rectangular design. So now it's time to move all of this mulch and reuse it in different areas. You know those projects that you think will just take an hour or two and then you'll be done? This was kind of like that project. The building aspect of the raised garden bed came together really, really quickly. Mostly probably because my husband knows what he's doing, but also because it's just screwing together a few boards. Maybe I'm oversimplifying, but that's really what it is. The thing that took much longer and will take the next few weeks is going to be making sure the garden sits level and then filling in the garden bed. Because this part of the yard sits on a slope, we had to do a combination of moving soil from the higher side and bringing it down to the lower side to try to level in the sides of the bed so that the bed laid level. This was definitely the longest part of the project. What helped also was digging out the perimeter a bit on the higher side and kind of shoving the bed into that slot. I'm only sharing probably less than a minute of clips, but I do want to emphasize that this task did take a long time, so plan accordingly. So now that we've built and installed this raised bed, let's have a chitty chat about something you might not think of as one of the biggest expenses for growing in a raised bed, and that is the cost of soil. So the way that you can figure out how many bags of soil, we're not taking it all the way back to math class, but it's really the length times the width times how many inches of soil you would like to add to your bed. That's gonna give you your cubic squared feet. So because this is a 12-foot by 3-foot bed, I need 36 cubic feet to raise the soil 1 inch. So you can imagine that is a heavy, heavy expense. There's a company that locally delivers really great soil. I love ordering their soil. I love growing with their soil. They are Soil 3. They deliver a giant bag. It's 27 cubic square feet. It's about, I think, $230. Sometimes they have a sale for like $199. I think they deliver in most of the Southeast, so I'm sorry if they're not in your area. Super convenient, really good product, awesome soil. But that is $230 to raise the soil less than an inch for this bed. So I think that's why the concept of hugelkultur became so big. I feel like it's the biggest thing in gardening, because what that is throwing all kinds of things that are going to decompose and eventually turn into soil into the bottom of the raised bed, and then adding good planting soil on top. So any kitchen scraps, twigs, rotting logs, I even went and started collecting my neighbor's yard waste. All of that can be added to the bottom of this bed, and that is going to save me a lot of money in terms of soil cost and filling and planting this bed. The downside of hugelkultur is that over time, as those things that you added to the bottom of the bed break down, it will cause the soil level to settle. So I'll be topping this bed off for a very long time as things settle. But also in that process, you're topping your bed off with fresh nutrients, which that's what you want to do at the start of a season anyways. So those are the pros and cons of hugelkultur. That's what I'm going to be doing, because I wasn't really planning on spending $600 worth of soil to get this cut flower garden going. But you need to decide what works best for you in your garden life. So I'd love to show you a completed before and after picture, but I don't need that bed to be ready until it's planting season, which is going to be about mid-March. That's when I'm going to target planting all of my seedlings that I've been growing indoors and plant them outside. So I do have a little bit of time, and I'm going to use these next few weeks to rescue lawn clippings from neighbors, to order soil, and begin slowly filling up that bed over time. I think that's the secret to gardening, is just doing whatever you can in whatever time you can, instead of trying to rush to do a project all in one day. And so that's why typically you see things from me as I'm working on them. And unfortunately, sometimes that means you don't get that full before and effect video factor that we all love so much. But all that means is you need to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can come back and see what the final product looks like later in the season. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel, and I will see you in the next video.